Hey there! Tonight we're making fish stew with crusty garlic bread. Stick around, let's get cooking. So we have some fresh cod. Cod is a little bit of a thicker fish, less flaky, so it's perfect for a stew. We have blackened seasoning. You can choose any blackened seasoning you like. I choose Merman's Revenge. It's got the right kind of flavor. We've got some diced onions, some chopped celery. We're adding bok choy. So chop up the white end of the bok choy, just like you would a stalk of celery. We've got some yellow squash, and we have sliced mushrooms, and the greens from the bok choy will go in near the end. So let's get started. We've got to get our cod chopped, and let's get some oil in our pan and get it hot. Perfect. So let's get our cod chopped and seasoned. And we're going to put that in our Dutch oven and get it browned on each side, and then we're going to pull it out and start with our vegetable base. Just basically like any stew that you would be making, but we're going to be using fish. You could actually do this with shrimp, and it would be a great shrimp stew. You could do the same recipe with a redfish. Here, right outside in the St. Johns River, we have some beautiful reds that run twice a year, and you could do this with some redfish. So we are going to add our seasoning. Our oil should be getting hot behind us. Season your food, children. Season your food. You only get one chance. Don't be shy. That's probably for maybe a pound of cod. We probably used 6 tablespoons. So that you know about how much. You want to get a really good heavy coating because we're going to sear this off in the pan. Now we're going to let that sear for just a minute. We're going to flip that around and try to sear it almost on every side. And then we're going to pull the cod out and start adding in our vegetables. There we go. So we're getting a little bit of water out of the cod, and we're going to get a little bit of a sear on it. So this is going to seal the outside, and the water's coming out, and we want all of that juice in our stew. We're going to be adding more liquid and obviously more items to our stew. So give that about 2 minutes on each side. So the process for substituting either the redfish or the shrimp would be the exact same. You would have your shrimp thawed, season it up real good. Please remove the tails. You don't want to have to stick your fingers in a stew to get the tail out. And so go ahead and remove the tails and then make your stew just like this. So now we've got a little bit of a cook on the fish, and now we're going to pull it out and start browning our vegetables. All right, so with our vegetables, we start with the firmest vegetables first. So we're gonna go with onions and celery, and it's similar to a mirepoix, but we're not gonna use the carrots. Get those in, let those saute, get them a little bit clear, and we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. We will stir this around. So now all of your seasoning is getting added. You can see it adding to the onions and the celery, and the butter's going in there. Our pan is getting all of that goodness in the bottom, and we are going to saute this for just a minute. You can see that the onions are starting to get slightly translucent. So I would leave that in there for about 2 to 3 minutes. And this right here, this little bit of seasoning that's on there, you want that in there, because when you add your stock and your juice, it's all going to be so good. It's going to come off the bottom and flavor your stew. So now we're going to add in the bok choy, just the white pieces, and then we're going to follow that with the squash. The squash has a lot of water in it anyway, so it won't take as long to soften down. So that's why we get these harder vegetables cooked off first. So now you've got the bok choy in there with the celery and the onions. Let's just let that cook for a couple minutes. Give that just a minute. And so the next things in will be the squash, sliced mushrooms. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic once these start to soften down. If you put your garlic in too early and the garlic starts to get a little bit of a crust on it, or it gets a little bit burnt, you will end up with a very bitter stew. So hold off until your firmer vegetables start to get a little bit softer, and as soon as they start to get a little bit limp, then you can start adding in your fresh garlic. Now we've got softness, we've got seasoning, we've got butter. Is there anything better than butter? I don't think so. Everything's better with butter. So let's go ahead and get our squash in. And at this time we'll add our fresh garlic. And that we're going to add in about a tablespoon, because we want that to meld in with the onions and the celery. Celery really doesn't have a flavor. It's going to take on the flavor of the onion, and it would also take on the flavor with the carrots if carrots were in there. So celery is pretty much a neutral crunch to your stew. Oh, almost. So let's get that stirred around. Look at this. So scrape those bottom. Scrape, scrape, scrape. You want all of that in your stew. Now we're going to add about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of clam juice. And then we're going to let that simmer just a second. Turn that around in there. And now we're going to go back in with about a cup and a half of white wine. Let that cook for about a minute. Get that in there. Don't forget to taste your wine. Very good. And that's going to go into your stew. Look at that. It's almost like you've cleaned your pan. Now let's go in there and add our 2 cups of vegetable broth. Then we are going to add our fish back in. And we're going to add our bok choy. Now we're going to let this simmer for 15 minutes, and that will let all the flavors meld, and then we will season it to taste. So while the fish is stewing, we are going to butter and garlic our baguette that we've cut in half, opened up for the number of servings that we need. We're going to stick that in the oven under the broiler. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll be ready to boil our stew. Let's check our stew. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Now's a great time to taste and see our seasoning. Looks really good. We just need a little bit of salt in there. Wow, that's good. So we're gonna add about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of salt. Then we'll stir that around. And as you can see, our mushrooms are cooked down, our squash is cooked down. We have our bok choy is all done. This is great. So let's grab another spoon, double check. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. We are almost ready. So now all we got to do is wait for our bread. Now, for the good part. This, along with a piece of garlic bread, and we have a great meal. Less than 30 minutes, you have dinner on the table. So when you serve up your soup, you're gonna have just a little bit left over. Save that, boil up some penne pasta, put that on top along with the juice, put some Parmesan on top of that, and you've got a great office lunch for the next day.